Good afternoon, everyone.
Sit down, please.
I'm Leroy Comrie. I'm Chair of the Committee on Consumer Affairs. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's hearing. Today we'll be holding a hearing on two bills that concern the horse-drawn cab industry. The first bill is proposed intro 653A, which would increase rates for horse-drawn carriage rides and amend the regulations pertaining to carriage horses and their drivers. The second piece of legislation we'll be discussing today is proposed intro number 65A, which would repeal all sections of the administrative code permitting the operation of horse-drawn cabs. The council first enacted a regulatory and licensing scheme for horse-drawn carriages in 1989. The laws governing horse-drawn carriages were last amended in 1994 when certain restrictions were lifted and penalties for abusing horses were increased. As it has been nearly 15 years since the committee last visited this topic, I look forward to hearing from all parties on the state of the industry and working together to ensure the health and safety of the horses, drivers, and public. I understand that this hearing is addressing matter on which both parties on both sides of the issue, on which all parties on both sides of the issue will have very compelling testimony. I'd like to remind everyone that we must conduct this debate in a respectful manner and allow each panel to speak without interruption from the audience. We've been joined by Council Members Charles Barrett from Brooklyn, Council Member Oliver Capel from the Bronx, Councilmember Tony Avella, who is the prime sponsor of Intro 658A.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, I want to talk a few minutes about my Intro 65A, which would ban the operation of horse-drawn carriages in the city of New York. When I first introduced this bill in December 2007, three horse deaths had occurred in less than a year and a half. And it was clear that the time had come to ban the operation of these businesses within the city of New York. The romanticized idea of enjoying a carriage horse ride through the streets of Manhattan can no longer justify the risk of serious injury or death to these animals or to the public at large. While I am sensitive, and I know everybody who's going to talk in support of my bill is sensitive to the loss of jobs in the city, we cannot ignore the fact that this is an industry that makes its living on the backs of these animals, with no regard to the fundamental inhumane conditions under which they work. I think we've grown up as a society to recognize that cruelty to animals is no longer appropriate. And we're going to be hearing testimony, obviously, from both sides. But I think we're going to be hearing expert testimony that will show that there is no way for this industry to operate and properly treat the animals.